As time goes by, many of us struggle with the complexities of aging. It involves more than just physical transformations, like greying hair, deepening laugh lines, or new aches. Often, the most challenging aspects of growing older are the emotional and psychological shifts that occur over time. Numerous discussions across major online forums reveal that this is a common struggle for people of all ages. If you're experiencing these feelings, know that you are not alone. Let's explore some of these challenges and discuss ways to manage them together. 1. Facing the reality of time and mortality. One of the most profound realizations that come with aging is the awareness of time's relentless march forward. In our youth, time feels infinite. We have dreams and plans that stretch out endlessly before us. But as we age, the perception of time changes. Days, months, and years seem to pass more quickly, and the realization that life is finite becomes more pronounced. Many people on forums express a sense of urgency, a feeling that they need to accomplish everything before it's too late. This can lead to anxiety or even a midlife crisis, where people reassess their life choices, often with a mix of regret and hope. I remember a story shared by a man in his late 50s on Reddit. He spoke about how he always dreamed of traveling the world, but life, work, raising a family, and financial constraints always seemed to get in the way. Now, with his children grown and retirement on the horizon, he's finally planning those trips. His story is a reminder that while time may feel more limited, it's never too late to pursue our passions. 2. Dealing with physical and mental decline. The physical aspect of aging is perhaps the most visible, and it's something that many people struggle with. Our bodies don't work the way they used to. We might find ourselves more prone to injuries, needing more recovery time, or simply not having the stamina we once had. On a popular online forum, a user in their late 60s talked about how they used to be an avid runner, but now can barely jog without feeling winded. They expressed frustration and sadness over the loss of a hobby that once brought them so much joy. Mental decline is another aspect that many fear. Forgetfulness, slower processing times, and even conditions like Alzheimer's are real concerns as we age. A common thread in these discussions is the fear of losing independence and the ability to enjoy life as we once did. While these changes can be discouraging, it's important to shift our perspective and find new ways to stay active that are kinder to our body, like swimming and yoga, as one forum user shared. It's about adapting and finding joy in different forms, rather than focusing on what we've lost. 3. Loneliness and isolation. As we age, our social circles often shrink. Friends move away, relationships change, and sometimes people drift apart. For those who are single or whose children have moved out, loneliness can become a significant challenge. A thread in an online forum was filled with heartfelt stories from people in their 60s and 70s who felt isolated. Many spoke about how difficult it was to make new friends at their age, especially when dealing with the loss of lifelong companions. The pandemic only heightened this sense of isolation, making it harder for many to reconnect with the outside world. Loneliness is a heavy burden, but it's one we can lighten by actively seeking connections. I've joined local community groups, volunteered, and even reconnected with old friends. It's not always easy, but it's essential to keep putting ourselves out there. 4. Regrets and unfulfilled dreams. As we reflect on our lives, it's natural to think about the paths we didn't take, the opportunities we missed, or the dreams that remain unfulfilled. This can lead to feelings of regret or a sense that we've wasted time. A man in his 70s shared his regret about never learning to play the piano, something he'd always wanted to do but kept putting off. He spoke about how he now spends time each day learning, even though it's much harder than it would have been when he was younger. Regret is a powerful emotion, but it's also a motivator. It's a reminder that we still have time to pursue those dreams, even if it's in a different way than we initially envisioned. I've learned that it's never too late to start something new, and that our past doesn't have to define our future. The challenge of staying relevant in a rapidly changing world. Many older adults feel left behind as technology evolves, societal norms shift, and what was once familiar becomes foreign. This can lead to a sense of irrelevance or disconnection from the younger generation. I came across a forum post from a woman in her 50s who felt out of touch with her teenage children. She struggled to understand their world of social media, online gaming, and digital communication, which made her feel like she was losing touch with them. Staying relevant is about staying curious. Personally, I've made it a point to learn new technologies, ask questions, and engage with younger people. Remember, it's not just about keeping up. It's about maintaining a connection with the world around us. 6. Finding purpose in later life. As careers wind down and children grow up, many people struggle with finding a new sense of purpose. The roles that once defined us, parent, worker, caregiver, may no longer be as central to our lives, leaving us to wonder what's next. In a popular online forum, a woman in her 60s shared her journey of finding purpose after retirement. She spoke about how she turned to art, something she had always loved but never had time for, and how it gave her a renewed sense of identity and fulfillment. Finding purpose in later life is about rediscovering passions and exploring new ones. For me, it's been about giving back, mentoring younger people, and dedicating time to causes I care about. It's about recognizing that our value isn't tied to our productivity, but to the love and wisdom we can share with the world. 7. Navigating identity shifts. As we age, the roles that once defined us, whether as professionals, parents, or even caregivers, begin to change or fade away. This shift in identity can be disorienting, leaving us questioning who we are without the titles and responsibilities that once gave our lives structure and meaning. A woman in her 60s shared how she felt lost after retiring from a successful career. Her job had been her identity for decades, and without it, she didn't know what to do with herself. She found herself waking up in the mornings with no clear direction, struggling to fill her days with purpose. Now I've also been there. When I retired, I faced a similar sense of displacement, but over time I learned that this period of uncertainty was an opportunity to rediscover myself. So I started journaling, reflecting on what truly mattered to me beyond my career. I explored hobbies I'd set aside, like gardening and painting, and reconnected with old friends. This journey helped her build a new identity, one that wasn't tied to a job title, but to the person she'd become over the years. 8. Caring for adult children or grandchildren. As parents, we often think that our responsibilities end when our children reach adulthood, but in reality, many of us find ourselves continuing to care for our grown children, or even stepping in as primary caregivers for our grandchildren. This can be both a joy and a burden as we balance our desire to help with the need to protect our own time and energy. A man in his late 60s shared his experience of moving in with his daughter to help care for his grandchildren. While he cherished the time with them, he also admitted feeling exhausted and sometimes overwhelmed by the demands he hadn't anticipated that in his retirement years he would be changing diapers and running after toddlers. Now I know how it feels. My daughter recently went through a tough divorce, and I found myself stepping in to help with my young grandchildren. It's been a blessing to be so involved in their lives, but it's also challenged me to find a balance. I've had to learn to set boundaries, to say no when I need rest, and to find time for myself amidst the chaos. It's a delicate dance, but it's taught me so much about love, patience, and the importance of self-care. 9. Adjusting to retirement and financial changes. Retirement is often painted as a time of relaxation and leisure, but the reality is that it can be a major adjustment, both emotionally and financially. For many, the sudden shift from a steady income to living on a fixed budget is a source of stress. Additionally, the loss of a daily routine can leave people feeling unmoored and uncertain about how to fill their days. A man in his early 70s shared on a forum how after retiring he struggled to manage his finances. He hadn't anticipated how different it would be to live on a pension compared to his previous salary. He also found himself with too much time on his hands, leading to feelings of boredom and a sense of purposelessness. Now, when I retired, I went through a similar experience. The financial adjustments were challenging, but what surprised me more was the emotional aspect. Suddenly, my days were wide open, and I had to figure out how to fill them meaningfully. So I started volunteering at a local shelter, which not only gave me structure, but also a sense of fulfillment. Financially, I learned to budget more carefully and found creative ways to stretch my resources, like downsizing and enjoying simple pleasures that didn't break the bank. 10. Coping with changing relationships. As we age, our relationships evolve. Friendships that once felt unbreakable may fade, family dynamics can shift, and romantic relationships might face new challenges. These changes can leave us feeling isolated or questioning the connections we once relied on. A woman in her 50s shared how her circle of friends had dwindled over the years. Some friends had moved away, others had drifted apart due to life changes, and a few had passed away. She found herself struggling to maintain connections and felt a deep sense of loneliness as a result. Now, I've also seen relationships change in my own life. Some of my oldest friends have moved on to different stages of life, and it's been hard to keep in touch. But I've also learned that this is a natural part of aging. Rather than mourning the loss of old connections, I've tried to focus on nurturing the relationships that remain and being open to new friendships. So I joined a local book club, which introduced me to a wonderful group of people who share my interests. It's a reminder that while relationships change, they can also grow and evolve in beautiful ways. Getting older is challenging, but it's also a privilege denied to many. It's a time of transition, reflection, and most importantly, growth. The hardest parts of aging are often the most valuable opportunities for learning and self-discovery. Yes, there are losses and hardships, but there are also joys and triumphs. We have the chance to look back on a life well lived, pass on our wisdom, and embrace the person we've become. Aging isn't the end of the journey. It's a new chapter, rich with possibilities and experiences waiting to be had. So, as you navigate the complexities of getting older, remember that you're not alone. At Timeless Wisdom, there's a community of people who understand, have walked this path, and are ready to support you. Feel free to share your own thoughts and experiences in the comments below. By sharing our experiences and supporting one another, we can transform the trials of aging into a source of strength and wisdom. Embrace this time with grace, resilience, and an open heart. After all, the best is yet to come. Remember to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching Timeless Wisdom.